Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic, that is number analogy, which generally comes in many competitive exams. At least you can see one or two questions coming from number analogy in most of the competitive exams that we apply for. So it's really important that we need to understand what exactly analogy is. Or analogy, there are different types of analogy, like number analogy is there, then word analogy is there, then letter analogy is there. So some semantic analogy is there. So there are different kind of analogies present in analogy section. So we have to understand each and every section in a very descriptive or in a very conceptual way. So for that reason, I have prepared a video on number analogy, explaining right from the basic to the advanced level. So let us give a look about what exactly analogy. Now we are going to discuss about number analogy. So for discussing that, let us take an example. So first of all, let us write down the topic. Number analogy. Number analogy. So let us take an example. Suppose these are four numbers which are in a series, or you can say which are predicted to be in an analogy. So we have to check that whether this is in analogy or not. We get such kind of question in entrance examinations, or we get such kind of questions in competitive exams. So in order to check that whether it is in analogy or not, or whether to understand the concept of analogy, first of all we have to see the relation of the first two numbers. Here we can see that there are four numbers, 1, 2, 3 and 4. There are four numbers. So the first two numbers are 4 and 6, and the second two numbers are 8 and 10. So it is clearly evident here that from 4 it has become 6. So how has it become 6? By adding 2 plus 2. Similarly, from 8 it has become 10. So how has it become 10? By adding plus 2. So in the first two numbers, the relation that is used is plus 2. So the relation that is used in order to get the second number from the first number is plus 2, right? So in a similar way, from 8 to 10, we have used plus 2 as well. So whenever we use the same relation of the first two numbers in the second two numbers as well, then we can say that those numbers are in analogy. This is the concept of analogy. So suppose we are taking another example. Three is to 5. And there is 10 is to 15. So now we have to see the first two numbers. What are the first two numbers? 3, 5. So there is an addition of plus 2, right? From the first number to the second number, we have added plus 2, isn't it? So now we have to check that whether adding 2 here, or whether using the same relation we get 15 from 10 or not. So here is 10 and here is 15. So in order to get 15 from 10, we have to add plus 5, right? So the same relation is not being used here. So we can say that this is not in analogy. So as you can see in the whiteboard, that it is written no fixed pattern or formula. So in order to solve number analogy, there is no such fixed pattern, or there is no such fixed formula that you will be using this formula and you will be solving this question, or you will be using this pattern and it will be uniform for each and every question. No, it is not in that way. So the more you will solve the questions of number analogy, the more you will learn about the patterns, the more you will learn about the concept that are used in different questions. So let us now take another example where a different pattern is used. The previous pattern that I taught you was of addition. So now let us see that what is the new pattern that we can learn from here. So suppose we have taken 4, 16, or you can say 4 is to 16 and 8 is to 64. So now not every pattern will follow the pattern of addition. Sometimes there would be multiplication, sometimes there would be squares, sometimes there would be cube roots, sometimes there would be cube. So there would be different pattern coming into play. So here if we see the first two numbers, as usual we'll see the first two numbers. Okay, we have to see the first two numbers. So the first two numbers are 4 and 16. So how will we get 16 from 4? Very easy concept. Just square 4. If we do the square of 4, then we'll get 16, isn't it? We are getting 16. So when we do the square of the first number, then we get the second number. So let us see that whether using the same relation we will be getting that in case of the second second two numbers as well or not. So now if we do the square of 8, do we get 64? Definitely. 8 square means 8 into 8, that is 64. So here we have done the square of the first number and we have got the second number. So in this case also we have done the square of the first number and we are getting the second number. So it is a different pattern. So as much as we solve questions, we'll be getting more and more ideas about how to solve number analogy. So let us proceed to some previous year questions that has come in SSC CGL. So let us proceed to that. So this is a question that has come in SSC CGL 2011. So let us proceed to this question. So the question here is 1:6 and there is 8 and we have to identify the number here. So now let us take the first two numbers as usual. There is 1 and there is 6. So it's a very easy question, From 1 if it has become 6, so definitely there is a addition of 1, there is a addition of 5. So the relation used in the first two numbers are plus 5. So from 1 we have got 6. So it is an addition of 1 plus 5. So similarly, let us take the other number as well. So if we add plus 5 with 8, then it becomes what? 13. So what will be the answer of us? The answer of this question would be 13. So in place of this blank space, you can write 13. Okay, so 13 is our correct answer. So another question that has come in SSC CGL 2011. This question is little bit different from the first question that we solved. So here we have to use a different pattern. So we'll get to learn about a new pattern from this question. So this is what number analogy is all about. When you will be solving more and more questions, you will be learning about more and more pattern. So what is the pattern being used here? We have to identify that. So as usual, you have to take the first two numbers. That is the 6 and 64. So how can we transform 6 to 64? So we have to identify that pattern, and that will only come when we will be solving more and more questions, as I have said you. So now it has become 64 from 6. So how can we make it 64 from 6? So first of all, we have to see one thing. We have to know some square values, like 1 square is 1, 2 square is 4, 3 square is 9, 4 square is 16, and 5 square is 25, then 6 square is 36, 7 square is 49, 8 square 64, 9 square 81, and then 10 square is 100. So we can see there that 64 comes in the square number. If we do the square of 8, then 64 comes. So here you can write 6 and here you can write 8 square. So what is the relation being used here? So if we add plus 2 here, then we get 8, right? If we add plus 2 in 6, then we get 8. And if we do the square of that number, the number that we get after adding 2 to 6, if we do the square of that number, we'll be getting what? 64, right? So this is the relation used here. So we have to use the similar relation in the second number as well. So now it is 11. So we have to identify the blank space, right? So now add plus 2 with 11, it becomes what? 13. Now we have to do the square of 13. The square of 13 will be 13 square will be 13 into 13, right? So 13 into 13 becomes what? 169. So 169 will be our right answer. So in place of the blank space, you can write 169. So this is how it is. So guys, thank you for watching this session, and hopefully you guys have understood the concept of number analogy a little bit, because this is just the beginning. So I'll be coming up with more and more videos related to it, but I hope that you guys have understood that what exactly I'm trying to make you understand, and hopefully by the next time I can solve more and more questions. So thank you so much for watching my video. Please do like, share and subscribe.